Welcome to an exploration of ancient myths that have not only colored our cultural history, but have also provided advanced insights into the evolution of human thought and societal structures. In this discussion, we will delve deeply into the technical aspects of myth formation and the sophisticated fact-driven context that define these legends. For an expert audience, this analysis examines the intricate interplay between astronomical observations, natural phenomena, and early scientific reasoning that ancient civilizations employed. By investigating lesser-known legends from diverse regions, we illustrate their role in shaping modern epistemology and the technical underpinnings of our societal norms. Drawing on evidence from historical records, archaeological findings, and the comparative study of folklore, we aim to reveal how narrative structures have influenced mathematical reasoning, engineering, and even early economic systems. Our investigation considers the symbolic language used in these myths and how it parallels modern semiotics and data-driven interpretations. We will explore fact-based analyses on how these ancient narratives continue to inform modern scientific paradigms and influence advancements in technology, philosophy, and literature. Each section of this script focuses on detailed, numerical analysis and technical precision, ensuring the content is both advanced and accessible through a relaxed, friendly tone. Ultimately, this presentation not only honors the rich legacy of ancient mythologies, but also challenges conventional perspectives by merging deep historical context with modern technical commentary. In summary, our detailed review merges empirical evidence with scholarly interpretation, providing experts a robust framework to understand these multi-layered myths for further critical inquiry. Ancient myths have their roots entrenched in the early development of human civilization, where empirical observations and ritualistic practices merged into rich narrative frameworks. Scholars have long debated the evolutionary origins of myths, positing that they were early attempts to codify natural phenomena into comprehensible stories. Detailed archaeological studies reveal that celestial events, such as solar and lunar cycles, were meticulously recorded and later incorporated into mythic lexicons, suggesting that early astronomers used these legends as informal texts for calibrating calendars and predicting seasonal changes. Anthropological research indicates that the creation of myths was also a response to the psychological need to explain phenomena such as natural disasters, disease outbreaks, and cosmic events. These narratives often employed allegorical content to encapsulate complex astronomical patterns or geological processes. Technical analyses of ancient texts have identified recurring numeric symbols and ratios, hinting at a proto-mathematical structure underlying these legends. The integration of mythology with early scientific endeavors is evident in artifacts that display both mythological motifs and precise geometric patterns, indicating a sophisticated understanding of mathematics and engineering. Advanced studies in comparative mythology now reveal that many legends share core elements, such as cyclical time concepts and dualistic forces, which are statistically significant when cross-referenced across continents. Moreover, sedimentary layers in ancient ruins correspond to events described in myth, lending quantitative support to their historical basis. As modern experts evaluate these myths with rigorous statistical models and computer-aided simulations, it becomes clear that the origins of ancient narratives were both an art and an early form of empirical science. The blend of narrative, symbolism, and technical documentation underscores the multifaceted purposes of myths as they serve to preserve knowledge and guide societal behavior, while simultaneously laying foundational principles for modern scientific inquiry. Thus, ancient myths remain meticulously relevant to detailed expert analysis. Greek and Roman myths have long served as the cornerstone for Western cultural and intellectual development, blending poetic narrative with empirical observation in ways that continue to influence modern analytical methodologies. Both mythologies encompass detailed genealogies of gods, heroes, and supernatural events, which can be mapped to early forms of scientific experimentation and hypothesis testing. The pantheon of deities was not merely symbolic, but represented complex human emotions, natural forces, and societal powers, with each figure's narrative offering insight into early psychological theories and archetypal models. Advanced statistical examinations of the recurrence of specific motifs reveal that these legends adhered to probabilistic patterns, suggesting an underlying mathematical design in their construction. Quantitative analyses of mythic texts have identified recurring numbers, ratios, and sequence patterns that indicate an inherent structure which parallels principles in modern algebra and geometry. For instance, the symmetry observed in the family trees of deities alludes to a proto-theory of networks and graph structures, while the recurring themes of hubris and downfall cast light on early risk management concepts in human societies. Moreover, ancient texts such as those by Hesiod and Ovid provide a plethora of data points that experts can analyze to trace the evolution of narrative forms and codified knowledge systems. The integration of myth and rational inquiry is further exemplified by the depiction of heroic quests, which often mirror the logical progression of scientific experiments from hypothesis through critical trial and error. Contemporary research employs advanced computational methods to reconstruct these mythic archetypes, yielding insights into both literature and numerical precision. Historical artifacts, including coins, statues, and architectural ruins, offer material evidence that corroborates the intricate numerical patterns found within literary sources. Such multidisciplinary studies confirm that the legacy of Greek and Roman mythology is not confined to art and literature, but extends to the foundational processes of reasoning in modern Western society. By correlating mythological motifs with empirical data, researchers have discovered significant alignments between narrative cycles and observed astronomical phenomena. Rigorous analysis using mathematical models demonstrates that many of these ancient stories contain embedded numerical constants that approximate natural ratios observed in the world. Such revelations have prompted a re-evaluation of the boundary between myth and early scientific inquiry, further affirming the technical sophistication of ancient narratives. These findings contribute a compelling quantitative dimension that supports the theory of myth as an early, inherently structured scientific language. Indeed transformative. Asian mythologies are deeply diverse and imbued with philosophical depth, representing a fusion of spirituality, empirical observations, and complex symbolism. In the vast narrative corpus of China, Japan, and India, legends serve as vehicles for articulating cosmological theories and intricate systems of thought that predate modern science. Detailed studies reveal that these myths often encode astronomical alignments, directional geometry, and environmental harmonics that have been validated by advanced modern scientific instruments. For instance, ancient Chinese texts describe celestial mechanics using allegories that encapsulate early understandings of the solar system and the periodicity of eclipses. Japanese folklore similarly integrates nature's cyclic patterns with animistic representations, thereby offering early prototypes for ecological systems theory. In India, mythological narratives intertwine with sophisticated mathematical constructs and metaphorical representations of time that mirror modern theories in theoretical physics and cosmology. Each legend functions not only as a cultural artifact, but also as a repository of empirical data, which experts have analyzed through complex statistical techniques and computer simulations. Rigorous deconstruction of these narratives reveals recurring patterns that parallel harmonic resonance in physics and fractal dimensions in mathematics. Archaeological discoveries have uncovered inscriptions and manuscripts that document these complex ideas, confirming that ancient scholars possessed a nuanced grasp of natural laws. This fusion of myth, science, and art showcases how narratives were purposefully designed to educate, inspire, and preserve technical knowledge for future generations. Interdisciplinary research continues to bridge the gap between ancient allegorical storytelling and modern scientific inquiry, demonstrating that these mystical tales, while enveloped in religious symbolism, are underpinned by impressive technical acumen and fact-based observations. The multi-layered nature of Asian myths encourages experts to approach these narratives with a dual lens, appreciating their artistic merit while rigorously analyzing their embedded empirical concepts. In doing so, they illuminate the sophisticated integration of philosophy, science, and culture that underlies these timeless tales, providing advanced insights into how early civilizations interpreted and codified the natural world. Thus, The analytical examination of these mystical tales not only enriches our understanding of the ancient world, but also refines modern theoretical models, advancing our dialogue with history, profoundly timeless. African myths and legends are characterized by their rich oral traditions and deep connections to the natural world, providing intricate explanations for phenomena that early African societies observed. Ethnographic studies show that these narratives were transmitted orally for generations, preserving complex historical data and mathematical relationships that scholars can analyze statistically. African creation myths frequently incorporate themes of fertility, renewal, and the cyclical nature of life, which are carefully mirrored in the ecological patterns found across the continent. Researchers have documented that many of these legends contain implicit numerical codes and symmetries, reflective of indigenous understandings of measurement and proportionality. Detailed comparative studies reveal that the oral transmission of these myths enabled precise memorization techniques and data retention practices, facilitating the accurate passage of astronomical and climatological information over centuries. Close examination of regional folklore has uncovered recurring structural patterns, suggesting that these narratives employed a sophisticated linguistic framework as a mnemonic device. Material culture, such as rock art and carvings, often reinforces the conceptual motifs found in myth, offering tangible evidence of early engineering and geometric design principles used by African civilizations. Advanced analyses using statistical models confirm that these mythological patterns are not random, but are instead based on observable natural cycles and human socio-cultural dynamics. By integrating archaeological discoveries with mathematical analyses, experts have demonstrated that African myths contain embedded empirical data relevant to understanding ancient environmental management practices. These narratives, while artfully metaphorical, present a fact-based account of the symbiotic relationship between humanity and nature. In essence, the study of African myths provides experts with a detailed and quantitative framework for interpreting how indigenous knowledge systems recorded and transmitted critical information about the natural world. Additional numerical analyses reveal that oral traditions encoded complex data that offer measurable insights into ancient African socio-environmental systems, indeed profound. Native American legends constitute a rich tapestry of narratives, imbued with the spiritual connections between people and the land. These myths are transmitted through both oral traditions and symbolic ritual performances, representing a sophisticated interplay of historical observation and environmental coding. Deep technical analyses have revealed that many of these narratives include structured patterns that embody sophisticated ecological understanding and highlight quantifiable relationships between nature and community life. Expert studies indicate that creation stories often contain allegorical representations of astronomical phenomena, water cycles, and genetic lineage systems, thereby offering a technical blueprint of natural laws. Rigorous linguistic examinations have uncovered recursive narrative frameworks and rhythmic cadences that enhance memorization, ensuring the retention of complex information over generations. Archaeological excavations and carbon dating techniques have verified that many elements described in these legends correlate with documented historical and geological events, providing numerical data that supports the authenticity of certain mythic accounts. Comparative analyses across different tribes reveal that recurring symbols and motifs carry statistical significance, often mirroring natural periodicity and ecological balance. These legends serve a dual purpose: to instruct communities about survival strategies and to codify environmental management practices using metaphorical yet measurable codes. A dense network of symbolic language, combined with specific geographical references, provides a technical map of indigenous knowledge systems. This synthesis of folklore and empirical observation offers contemporary experts a challenging yet enriching field of study, with opportunities for data-driven validation of ancient ecological expertise. Ultimately, Native American legends encourage experts to appreciate a multidimensional approach that blends narrative art with empirical analytics, thereby deepening our understanding of the intricate relationships that sustain both culture and the natural environment. Careful numerical assessments, combined with advanced data analytics, validate these legends as precise repositories of indigenous observations, offering measurable insights that continuously inspire contemporary research beyond all expectations. Middle Eastern and Mediterranean myths provide some of the earliest written records of narrative traditions, carrying with them a synthesis of myth, law, and empirical observation. Ancient texts from Mesopotamia, including the Epic of Gilgamesh, illustrate an early integration of quantitative measurements and cosmological speculation that has been critically examined using modern statistical tools. Detailed archaeological records reveal that the structure of these myths was meticulously organized, reflecting advanced systems of quantitative reasoning and standardized measurement principles. Scholars have identified that many of these narratives incorporate recurring numerical symbols and sequences, suggesting that they were designed with an inherent mathematical architecture. For example, the descriptions of great floods and epic journeys often coincide with observed astronomical cycles and seismic activity, thereby providing a factual basis for these stories. Advanced textual analysis employing network theory and algorithmic decryption has uncovered latent patterns that correlate with principles in modern geometry and chaos theory. Furthermore, these mythic records are instrumental in understanding the early development of societal laws and governance models, with many legal codes drawing upon mythological paradigms to instill order and moral judgment. The literature from ancient Israel and neighboring regions offers compelling evidence of how these foundational myths influenced not just religion, but also early administrative systems and economic models. The synthesis of narrative and numerical precision in these accounts illustrates a complex interplay between empirical data and mythological storytelling. Contemporary research utilizes computer simulations and statistical modeling to reconstruct the events described in these legends, affirming their historical significance and technical sophistication. Such methodologies have allowed experts to trace geological changes, climatic fluctuations, and cultural shifts using parameters encoded within these texts. In sum, Middle Eastern and Mediterranean myths continue to serve as a vital repository of ancient knowledge, where empirical observation meets narrative art in a rigorous framework that informs both historical and modern analytical practices. Extensive interdisciplinary research integrating digital humanities and quantitative historical analysis has further revealed that these narratives encode measurable principles of ethics, society, and geometry, thereby offering a robust, data-driven insight into ancient governance and cultural dynamics, enhancing our comprehensive historical perspectives significantly. In conclusion, our exploration of ancient myths has revealed a profound convergence of narrative art, technical precision, and empirical insights that continue to influence modern intellectual pursuits. The multifaceted traditions from Greek and Roman, Asian, African, Native American, and Middle Eastern cultures share an underlying framework of coded information and numerical patterns that prefigure modern scientific methodologies. Expert analyses demonstrate that these legends, far from being mere stories, encapsulate early systematic observations and sophisticated data representations, which paved the way for contemporary theories in mathematics, astronomy, and philosophy. The integration of advanced computational models with traditional mythological studies has enabled us to quantify the intricate symbolic language that these narratives employ. By merging statistical analysis with comparative historical research, modern scholars are able to validate the authenticity and technical depth of ancient accounts. As a result, these time-honored myths not only enrich our cultural heritage, but also provide a robust foundation for scientific inquiry and technological innovation. This synthesis of old and new challenges the conventional divide between art and science, suggesting that each myth embodies a data set ripe for analytical decryption. The enduring legacy of these ancient narratives reminds us that empirical observation and creative expression are not mutually exclusive, but rather complementary facets of human endeavor. Moving forward, continuous interdisciplinary research will further unravel the quantitative underpinnings of these stories, offering insightful perspectives on their impact on contemporary society. Ultimately, the technical legacy embedded within ancient myths serves as a bridge, connecting historical wisdom with modern analytical frameworks and inspiring future innovations grounded in time-tested knowledge. Thus, through rigorous analysis and cutting-edge research, experts continue to unlock the layers of these ancient texts, demonstrating how age-old wisdom powerfully informs today's scientific and cultural landscape. In every equation of history,